Hello everybody and welcome back to the next episode. Alright, so yeah, as you can see, we are standing here in front of our beautiful green grass field. It started growing, so I'm quite confident this is going to give us quite a good yield once we are ready to actually start working on this field and obviously mowing it. And we're going to be probably getting ourselves a forage wagon in the near future. So I already had a word with Grandpa Walter. He's got an old forage wagon that he is trying to get rid of as well. So we might go ahead and pick that up maybe at some point. I don't think it'll be today. But yes, as for the animals, I kind of moved the hay bale from the horse pasture over here into the cow pasture because the cow's food was starting to get a little bit low. So we are going to be working on this today as well, getting them some hay bales maybe. It all depends on time, because I've got quite a couple of things that I would like to get done. First of all, the guys over there on the construction side, they are definitely making some good progress. You can actually see they finished building the walls, so they are busy constructing the beams for the roof. So they've got some long beams over here that they brought along this morning, and they actually are working quite fast. This thing will be hopefully up and ready to use within no time. As for the tomatoes from the greenhouse over here, I actually did get everything loaded up onto the trailer. So we are going to be taking this over to the farmers market a little bit later on. But first, as you guys know, we still have to go and do the work on our oats field. So I've got the Massey Ferguson with our seeder, which is also a Massey Ferguson seeder, already hooked up, and I actually got myself this little gravity-fed gasoline canister. So yeah, we are basically going to be able to fuel our own vehicles on the farm from now on. It only takes a couple of liters. It's not really big, but it's big enough for our little establishment that we've got going on here. Alright, so first things first, we're going to fire this old machine up of ours. We're going to head over to the field, and we're obviously going to start sowing the oats. So we do have got the seeds and everything ready in the back of the seeder. So let's make our way over there. Alright, I just hope we're going to fit through here. It looks like it's a little bit narrow, but I think I think we're good. Just got to keep it nice in the center over here. Alright, let's make sure we make this turn. Alright, perfect. I'm gonna go straight to the field. So, I did have a little bit of analyzation done to the field. We are gonna have to get some lime, which is what I'm planning to go and pick up after we did the seeding and dropped off the tomatoes today. We are gonna go by the shop and just pick up some bags of lime. But first I want to just see how this is gonna go. I think the tractor is actually a little bit stronger than the John Deere we had. Speaking of which, we actually did go and drop off the John Deere 710 over at Grandpa Walter's farm. Right, we're just gonna hop out and make sure we are, looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do. So I think we can continue with this and just get this field planted with oats, and then hopefully I'm going to be able to do the liming afterwards. Otherwise we'll probably have to wait for the first growth stage. So I guess we'll figure this out. Not entirely sure if it can be done before or after seeding. But worst case scenario is we don't do the liming today if we can't do it, obviously. Let's just carry on. We're going to do a quick little headland around this field of ours. It's a very small field. Shouldn't take very long. And then I'm going to quickly send the drone out so that we can get this field all planted up. Okay, let's see if we can actually make this turn. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. We just gotta come back and obviously plant the little part we missed there. So yeah, I think this is actually doing quite well. We'll get there slowly but surely. Obviously we are still limited to plant at a certain speed. Right, but let's just keep going. And I think that is the first headland basically done. Alright, so I think it's time to let the drone go and obviously give you guys a little bit of a third-person view. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alright, so there we go. I think that went quite well actually. So our oats field is now officially seeded or planted. It's actually a seeder that we used, so I think the correct term to use is seeded. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yes, we are now going to have to obviously roll the field as well. But I'm not entirely sure if we should rather try and do the liming first, which means we're going to have to obviously run a bit of an errand first before we can actually do that. And then it's going to be a matter of trying to dig our little spreader out from where it's parked at the moment, or situated. I haven't really moved that thing since we actually got this farm. So let's get this barn open quickly. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to have to move the little car trailer out of the way here. We're also going to be able to get to it then. The cultivator might be in the way, I'm not too sure, but we'll see. So I think obviously I need to handle this first of all. We need to get the tomatoes dropped off. And then we are going to come back to the farm and see if we can actually, yeah, obviously collect the lime as well from the shop. And then we'll be able to hopefully do the liming today. I'm going to try my best. Alright, so let's just pull out. We are going to leave the tractor outside today. I think it'll be fine. We'll get all of that sorted once we get back. It's quite a bit of maneuvering around getting in our vehicles and getting our vehicles in and out of the barn. I did do a little bit of rearranging. It's still got to be a little bit perfected if you ask me. But yes, let's get over to the farmer's market. It's not too far, luckily for us. So yeah, then we're gonna head back to the shop and pick up the 2 bags of lime. Alright, let's just see. And here we go, we are back on the road. So I'll catch up to you guys once we are close to the farmer's market. Alright, and we are basically over at the farmer's market. So this is actually the same place where we came to pick up our massive Ferguson tractor. So I'm not entirely sure where we actually need to go to offload the tomatoes, so I might have to park up somewhere and just see if I can find somebody who's going to be able to help me. There seems to be a couple of people inside. Alright, so I think it should be fine if we just park up here and try and figure this out. Yeah, it's quite booming here today. The last time I was here it was actually very cold and snowy. But yes, let's quickly see if we can find somebody who's going to be able to help us offload all of the tomatoes over here. Alright, so turns out we were actually in the perfect spot, and they actually came and offloaded all of the pallets. So yeah, that is a job done for today with regards to deliveries. So we got a little bit of money back from that. That is actually not too bad. Alright, so in essence, these tomatoes are going to pay for the 2 bags of lime that I just purchased. And actually it wasn't really too bad growing those couple of pallets of tomatoes, so we just need to keep at it, and slowly but surely it's going to become a steady income for us. Alright, now I'm not too sure if this was actually the one way or whatever, the entrance, so I guess somebody will probably tell us if it's the wrong way to go out from here on. But right now we need to make our way over to the dealership, because that's where I ordered the bags of lime. And then hopefully we can use their forklift to get the stuff loaded. So yeah, I'm just going to try and make my way over there. I might have to take the ferry. It might be a little bit quicker if we actually took the ferry from here. Alright, so yeah, I nearly got a bit lost there in between all of those farm fields, but we are finally back in town. So yeah, starting to at least recognize where we are now. Yeah, you can actually get lost very easily in this town if you don't know exactly where you are. Alright, but there's the dealership up ahead, and we're gonna see if they've got our bags of lime ready for us. Right, we'll pull in here by the bank, on the bank side, and we'll just carry on down here. And there they are, so that is actually quite good. So they've got it ready for us, or so I think, yeah, that looks like the 2 bags of lime, so that is good. Right, well, let's just park up here, nice and out of the way. And let me hop out quickly and just go and tell them that I'm here to collect the 2 bags of lime. Alright guys, so that was actually quick and painless. So when I got here, the guys actually offered to load it for me. So I said, well, go ahead, and they ended up loading it for me on the axle, or on the 2 axles. So I think that's going to probably be the best way of carrying these bags back to our farm. Alright, so let's fire up this old Chevy Silverado of ours and make our way back to the farm and see if we can continue with some more farm work for you guys. Alrighty guys, so we are back at the farm, and I think what I'm going to do is we are just going to leave the bags of lime on the trailer for now. We'll also keep it hooked up to the pickup truck so that the trailer doesn't go, you know, tilt backwards or forwards or anything. What I'm going to do is we're going to leave the seeder right over here for now. So let's just fire this old tractor up. Alright, we're going to see if we can actually pull the car trailer out. Just get it sort of out of the way. Right, there we go. Right, now we can reverse this back in there. Alright, so that is connected up. It's a little bit high connecting this up to the tractor, but it's okay. We just need to move it out of the way. Right, we'll just drop it down there again, and hopefully I can get to that little fertilizer spreader of ours. I think it might actually have some fertilizer in it still, so I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to empty that into some sort of a bulk bag. It might be a good idea if we could. Alright, let's see. Alright, well, there we go. So that is connected up. And we didn't have to move the cultivator even, so it's not too shabby. Alright guys, I've got to try and make a plan to get the fertilizer unloaded from this fertilizer spreader. So I think I'm going to do it around the back here. And see if we can sort of make a plan to get the fertilizer out of this thing. I don't think there's a whole bunch left. Right, let me try and figure this out then. Alrighty guys, so Aubrey was actually very helpful in this regard. So he had this little stand for this bulk bag that he actually just sort of had laying around. So he said we are welcome to use it, and he's got plenty more of these. He's gonna leave it for me somewhere so that we can actually use it in the future if we ever need them. Alright, but let's hop back into the tractor. And right now I'm going to see if we can actually fill this fertilizer spreader up by means of just coming close to the trailer. And probably we're going to have to scoop it into this thing. So this might take me a little time to do, but yeah, I'm not too sure. So let's figure this out once again. Alrighty guys, so I did manage to get the fertilizer spreader filled with lime. So we're going to be able to hopefully go and do the liming on our field. So I've actually got no idea how much lime we are going to need for this field. So I decided to just get 2 bags because they are kind of inexpensive. Alright, so let's make our way over to the oats field, our freshly seeded oats field. Alright, so here we are. And I've got no idea how wide this thing actually spreads, so I guess we're just gonna turn it on and see. Okay, that is not too bad. It's actually covering quite well. Quite a nice big spread it's got on this little fertilizer spreader. And my goodness, we can actually go quite a relatively good speed on this with this fertilizer spreader. So I didn't think it was going to go this quick. Right, well, firstly we are just going to do a little bit of a headland around this field. Yeah, it looks like we could actually go a little bit more inwards. Just trying to figure out how this thing operates and how wide it spreads. Alright, that isn't looking too bad. Okay, well, I think it's time for me to send the drone out so that we can see how quickly we can get this thing knocked out of the park. So once again, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty guys, so a quick little break from the time-lapse, and I decided to just move the pickup truck with the trailer and the lime on the back a little bit closer to the field, so that way I don't have to drive the tractor up and down trying to fill this thing every time. So I think this is going to be hopefully the last little bit of lime we're going to need for this. But I think, yeah, let's get back to the time-lapse while I try and sort this out so that we can get to rolling this field as well. Alrighty, so that is job done. So I'm quite happy the way that turned out. So looks like our lime field, or the field, has been lined completely. I don't think we missed any spots. So right now what I'm going to do is obviously get the roller hooked up to the bigger tractor, the Duke's Far tractor. But I do want to see if we can actually get this fertilizer spreader of ours, which is actually also a lime spreader, back into the barn. So I think let's just put it down over here. Alright, this might need a little bit of a cleanup, so we'll get that sorted off, well, obviously after we are done with everything today. Right, let's just put the Massey Ferguson over here, nice and out of the way. Perfect. Alright, let's get the Duke's Far fired up and connect up to our decent sized field roller over here. Right, so there goes the buzzer, and we just gotta let this thing idle for a little bit before we start moving. It's been standing for quite some time. Alright, I think that is good enough. So it's definitely not ideal using your equipment when it is still icy cold. So let's get this roller folded up so that we can actually fit through the door. Alright, so here we go. And guys, I must say, I'm actually loving this tractor. It's definitely a nice little step up from the Massey Ferguson. But I still think we're going to use the Massey Ferguson quite a lot on the farm, because it's a little bit more compact and easier to manage. Definitely maneuvers quite a bit easier than this big tractor of ours. Alright, let's just pass through here in between the animals. Alright, let's get to our field over here. I think we can actually hit the lever so that this thing can start opening. Just like that. Alright, and let's get it lowered down. And there we go, we are rolling our oats field. But yeah, I didn't think I was going to get to everything today on this field. But it looks like we are going to get everything done so that this oats field can hopefully start growing. I'm not too sure how good the yield is going to be, because we might potentially still have weeds. And yeah, obviously I've been having a look at a lot of options on how to get rid of weeds if we ever do get some weeds on this field. So the first one is obviously buying a weeder, which we can actually like rake the weeds out of the field. And the second option is obviously getting ourselves a sprayer, which we can use to spray the field, and that way also killing off all of the weeds that way. So I'm not too sure. We'll see whichever opportunity comes to us, and which is obviously going to be the most cost effective. At this point I'm thinking a weeder is probably the way to go, unless if we could really get a sprayer for very cheap, and we could probably strike a nice deal with the dealership on supplying us with some herbicide. So that is another thing to consider. So I'm not entirely sure yet which route we are going to be taking. But my goodness, yes, now looking at this field as we did the liming, it's going to be a bit hard to see where we've been and where we haven't been. So I think I'm going to probably break out the drone once again, and then yeah, you guessed it, you guys can sit back, relax, and just enjoy while I try and see if I can get this whole field rolled. Alright guys, so there we go. I think I may have done it. I'm not sure if I missed any parts of the field, but I guess next time we don't have to do the liming at least. So it should go better next time round, hopefully. So right now I'm just going to put the tractor back at the barn. I'm quickly gonna take a walk down to fetch the pickup truck with the bags of lime, and then we're gonna get to cleaning up the equipment a little bit, because obviously we've used quite a bit of the equipment today. Alright, so let's get this thing folded open so that we can actually clean it up nicely. Alright, I'll just switch off the tractor here quickly, and I'm gonna quickly walk over and just see if I can fetch the pickup truck and then bring it back to the farm. Alrighty, so here we are, and I think we're just going to do some more straps on these again so that they don't go anywhere. Alright, let's get the old gal fired up here, and let's just get back to the farmyard. So I'm not too sure if we should actually do a layer of fertilizer on the oats field just yet. I think we can actually just see how it grows and what it looks like once we start getting it obviously to germinate. So at the moment there's not really much going on that I can carry on with. So I might check with Aubrey if there's anything that they need next, and maybe we can see if we can get that organized for them. Oh, come on, let's just take off these straps here. There we go. Alright, so yeah, obviously we're going to have to try and see if we can get those bags removed from the trailer. Okay, so our little forklift is available. It's not packed in. Right, so let's get that hooked up. Alright, perfect. So this little forklift attachment actually comes in very handy for loading everything on the farm. Although I did consider having a look at getting a proper actual forklift, but they are extremely expensive. And also I had a look at the option of getting some front loader attachers for our tractor here, but then again I thought it's not really going to be the best, because we're already struggling to see with this what we are doing. So I don't think a front loader attacher is going to help us much at this point. Okay, obviously we're not going to be able to grab both of them at this stage. Okay, so we'll just do one at a time. Gotta try and see where I'm gonna put everything now. Hopefully that is going to fit through our barn's door. Yeah, we just have to be careful here. Right, let's see how low we can actually go with this. It's sort of dragging on the ground. Okay, let's rather just lift it up a tiny bit more. Alright, seems to be good. How close were we actually? No, there was a lot of space. Okay. Alright, so I eyeballed that not too bad actually. Alright, let's see if we can actually tuck it in between these posts of the barn here. That would be great. Alright, we'll just put it down over there. Alright, let me go grab the other bag as well. Are you still good? There we go. Alright, let's get going. Over to this side. Alright, let's see if I can hook up this bag as well. Alright, and there it goes. Alright, not too bad. Just mind our new little gas filling station over there. Okay, and let's bring it around this side. Gonna bring it down a bit. Alright, obviously it's going to drag if we go too far down. Okay, let's see. Just gotta let it barely squeeze through there. There we go. Alright, so it's in. Right, we'll just try and tuck it right here next to the other one. Could probably do it in this corner. That'll be fine. Okay, so that is job done for now. So we've got that sorted out. Alright, let's get this thing folded back up and we'll lower it back all the way. Let's just put this where it's supposed to go. Alright, there we go. That is disconnected. So let's quickly pull the tractor outside again. And we're gonna bring our pressure washer closer. And I think I'm just going to clean up everything today. So yeah, in other news, I actually did modify the pressure washer a bit. We got ourselves a second handle and we've got a much longer hose now. So I think we should actually be able to reach all of the equipment if we just put this thing sort of in the middle of everything. So we're going to give that a nice test now as well. It's amazing the attachments and stuff you get for these. Alright, so let's grab this handle for now. Alright, let's spray down the cedar over here first. Yeah, see, we've got a much longer cable on this one, so I'm quite happy. This is doing pretty well for us. Okay, so the cedar is actually cleaning up very nicely. I don't really see a lot of wear on this thing. It looks like it's actually been taken care of quite well, or it hasn't been used much. Alright, well, I think that is good enough. Alright, let's get the roller cleaned up over here. Although it didn't really get very dirty on the field now, because it's such a small field and we went very quickly on the field with this. Even the tractor doesn't look too bad, so not really gonna bother too much with spraying down the tractor. You can clearly see there's some paint coming off from the steps over there, but that's okay. It's a work tractor. Alright, and now the massive Ferguson. Just give this a little bit of a rinse. Alright, yeah, it's definitely getting there. Looks much better already. Alright, I'm quite happy with that. Definitely looks good. Alright, let's see our little trailer here. It's definitely got a little bit of mud on it and gravel on it. I don't think we actually cleaned this thing when I got it the first time, because it wasn't too dirty at all. But man, I must say, this pickup truck of ours, it picks up dirt so fast. This thing doesn't like to stay clean. Alright, let's just spray it down on this side as well. Alright, that actually cleans up not too bad every time. It's just, obviously, it's an old truck, so it's the paint looks like it's a little bit faded, but that's okay. I mean, it's a farm truck. Alright guys, I think the hose can even reach to here, which is good. So let's spray down the little car trailer as well, since we've got it out here anyway. Alright, I think that is good enough. I'm quite happy with that. And now I need to try and figure out how I'm going to maneuver everything back into the barn. Kind of had a good thing going with the roller on the side of the barn. It didn't work out too badly. Whoa, and this thing is a little bit hard to push. There we go. I will just put it right here in this corner where it belongs. Alright, perfect. So I think if the roller goes back here, and then obviously we'll park the Dude's Fart tractor right over there again where it was. And then as for the car trailer, yeah, I'm not sure. We'll probably get that back into the barn somehow as well. Alright, let's fire this old beast up. Let's not forget to fold it up so we can get into the door. And my goodness, I see they are actually nearly done with the roof beams there. I don't know what materials they're going to need next. So I'll have a word with Aubrey quickly and just see what he says. Maybe it's something we can actually go and pick up for him again. Because I really want to get that thing built as soon as possible, guys. It's definitely a bit crowded in our barn here. So I think if we could get some more parking space for our vehicles, it's definitely going to help us quite a bit. Right, so the cattle trailer and the water barrel, I actually put the cattle trailer there on that side as well. So it gives us a little bit more space in here, obviously, for a lot more things. Okay, so there's the roller. I think that should do. Alright, so yeah, this is one of the reasons why I don't really like maneuvering stuff too much around in a barn. It's bound to get damaged or scratched or something. So yeah, it's a little bit crammed in here, so I think maybe what I can do is we can push the car trailer in next with the tractor. We could actually put this next to the Dude's Far tractor. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is usually stuff I do off camera, guys, but today I figured I might actually show you guys and let you guys understand the pain that I've got with moving everything each and every time. Okay, so I'm going to put this trailer, which is a little bit hard to push with the tractor here because it's almost going to catch that edge of the barn. Hopefully not. Let's see. Yeah, it's doing the thing. Okay, so I wonder if I can connect it a little bit lower. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, so we're going to have to probably push this with the pickup truck, obviously. Alright, let's get the trailer disconnected from the truck here. Okay, so let's hook up to the tractor over there, or the trailer. Let's just open this so that we can actually see what we are doing then. Okay, I must just be careful. Okay, luckily the flatbed truck is quite far away. Alright, so the trailer is connected up. I'm just going to back it up next to the Dude's Far tractor. Because I think at the moment we are sort of done with everything that we needed to do on the farm. Now I need to start having a look at more equipment, obviously. So I did get a guy who's got a combine harvester, but he's out of state, so we're gonna have to try and organize some transportation for that thing to get it back to our farm, obviously. And it's also going to mean that I'm gonna have to do quite a bit of a road trip because it's as I said, it's out of state, so it's something we're gonna have to get sorted out probably. Right, while we are in the pickup truck, let's actually connect up to the trailer here. Okay, and we're going to push this, try and push it in next to the horse trailer once again, where it used to be. Alright, let's push this back. Oh, come on. Just straighten out. There we go. Alright, so far so good. Yeah, it's not ideal. Don't know how far we can still go back. As they always say, go back until you hear a bang, then you know you went too far. There we go. Alright, so that is good. Alright, so now obviously the pickup truck needs to be more or less easier to reach than the rest of the equipment, so we should probably pull it out so that I can get the seeder back in here. Alright, let's connect the seeder up to the tractor rather. Oh boy, this is turning into a more an episode of me moving my equipment around the barn than actual farming. I still wanted to go and pick up the hay bales actually, which is not a bad thing. I just need to check with the animal dealer if they do actually have hay bales ready for us, or if they actually do have stock of it rather. So I think let's sort this out quickly, and then we're gonna give them a phone call maybe and see if they have got stock of the hay bales for us. And then, because I could probably get the smaller ones from the dealership again, but that's not going to be ideal. Oh, come on. Let's just see. I used to get this thing in here easily. Yeah, there we go. You just got to be perfectly lined up with the door, because it's a very tight fit. And yeah, let's open that lid so that we can actually get the seat stopped off again. Actually, I've got two lids on this thing, one for the fertilizer, which is something we might actually do in the future if we are seeding our field again and we need some fertilizer. Now, how does it... why does it look like this thing doesn't want to fit here? Yeah, it looks like the cultivator was shifted a bit. My goodness, guys, this is a little bit of maneuvering, but I think we'll get it in just in a second. Alright, I think that is actually not too bad. Obviously, that door on the side, I don't really use it as much anymore. Alright, so if we're going to go and pick up the hay bales, I think I'll use the flatbed trailer over there. So let's just put our tractor right over here, nice and out of the way. Alright, perfect. So I think what I'm going to do is now I'm going to check with Aubrey if he needs any materials for building. And then we're going to give the animal dealer a call and just see if they've got some hay bales for us, obviously. And then hopefully if we can go and pick up something, we will go and pick up all of the stuff. Alrighty guys, so I just got off the phone with Katie from the animal dealer. And she says that they actually do have got some hay bales, and they actually sent it over to the dealership for us. So it's a little bit easier to load it there. And obviously they are a little bit more operational with their bigger forklift there, as the dealership, well, the animal dealer only has got that little tiny forklift that they use for loading a couple of things. So yeah, we are going to head back to the dealership with our little flatbed trailer. And I also did have a quick word with Aubrey, and he says they are good for today. They've only got the wood beams that needs to go on, so that is a good sign. We don't need to go and pick up any building materials today. Okay, so let's get our flap closed up. And we're going to reverse back. Alright, let's get this trailer connected. There we go. Alright, pretty good. So there we are. Just pull out a bit further. Alright, we'll close up the barn once again. Come on, these doors are sometimes a bit sticky. There we go. Alright, well, let's get over to the dealership and see if we can get these hay bales loaded. So I actually ordered 4 of them this time. So I'm hoping it'll fit on our little trailer back there, because obviously it's the first time I'm going to be loading hay bales on this thing. But I'm quite sure it'll do quite well. We could at least probably fit 2 of them on the back of our pickup truck itself as well. But I guess we will see what we can do with the little trailer rather. Alright guys, so here we are back at the dealership again. So they've got our hay bales ready there. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to park up exactly where we did earlier on. It's almost like a little bit of deja vu. Alright, let's see if they are going to load it again for us, or if we are going to have a go at this forklift of theirs. Alrighty guys, so we are supposed to actually load it ourselves this time. So the guy who did it for us previously, he's on a bit of a lunch break, so I guess we're just gonna have to wing it and try our best here. Alright, let's see if we can actually take 2 of these at once. So my plan is we're gonna try and see if we can put 2 of them onto the trailer towards the front and maybe 2 towards the back. So I guess we'll figure this out and just see what is going to work the best. Yeah, it might be a little bit harder to see what we are doing now, but I think if we just put it over there. Okay, it's a little bit close to the front. Let's just move it a tiny bit away from the front. Okay, let's put it down right there. Okay, so that's the first 2 loaded. So if we load the other ones the same way, we might have them sticking out the back a bit. I don't think it'll be a problem. Just gotta be extra careful while driving. Okay, let's get this hooked up. Alright, we'll just go nice and high so we can actually be sure to see where we are going. Right, I hope that's going to stay on the trailer. It looks like it. It's a little bit far back. Actually, we could push it a tiny bit forward. We might have to use the actual forklift, because that is just going to go into the actual hay bale if we push it that way. Let's try and push it with this corner a bit. Yeah, not the best, but I think it'll do. Alright, let's quickly park up the forklift again for these guys, so that they are ready to use it the next time somebody needs it. Alright, let's go down with this all the way. We'll make sure nobody trips over the forks. Yeah, actually the first time I operated this forklift, it's doing not too bad actually. Alright, right now I'm going to try and strap these bales down. And you know what this means? We have to go and offload it back at our farm with our own little tractor and our forklift attachment. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. Alright. Let's get back to the farm so that we can once again try and offload these things. Alrighty guys, so I'm back at the farm, and now obviously I parked everything so nicely in the barn that we're not going to be able to hook up the forklift attachment to the Massey Ferguson without moving the Dude's Far. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to hook it up to the Dude's Far. Might be driving up onto the roller a bit there, but there we go. It's not so bad. Right, let's see if the dude's far tractor can also handle the forks. Okay. I might have to get those straps off first. Well, I think we could probably put some of these bales straight into the animals' feeding troughs. So I'm not too sure if the dude's far is actually going to fit in those little alleyways of ours between the two animal pens, but we gotta give it a try, and then that way we will know whether it works or whether it doesn't work. Alright, come on, reverse back. Alright, so we've got our first one off the trailer. And now we're just going to reverse back a bit and see how this is going to work out with our big tractor. If I see this is going to be an epic fail, I'll probably just disconnect the attachment here and just put it onto the Massey Ferguson. That is super close, but we might make it. Okay, let's go forward a tiny bit. We can actually. Okay, so that is going in. Not too shabby. Alright, can we make the turn? We can. Okay, so at least we know the dude's far can do this. We just need to be careful of our fence there. Okay, so let's grab the other one for the cows, I think. I don't know if the horses actually need feed just yet. They still seem to be good. Alright, so now, as you guys may know, we don't have a lot of space in our barn. So I'm thinking maybe I should try and, okay, obviously not push the pickup truck with the trailer. Okay, so we're going to try and see if we can actually get these triple stacked. I think that's going to work out quite well if we can do it like that. And then I'm going to move this over to our hayloft. We're going to just pop it under the little roof over there for now. I was considering getting a straw blower as well, because that way we could obviously shred the straw bales if we ever get straw bales. And I'm quite confident it'll also be able to shred the hay bales for us if we wanted to do it that way. But yeah, as I said, I'm not entirely sure yet exactly what I'm going to do or what I've decided yet, so nothing is, as they would say, plaster and concrete just yet. Alright, so let's see if we can put these two on top of the other one there. Might be a bit hard with this incline that we've got here. Otherwise we'll just have to move the two and then come back for the one. But let's see what happens. Let's try this. Let's just straighten it up a bit. Okay, it seems to be stacked. Alright, let's grab all three of these. Oh, come on, we just need to go down a bit more. Alright, let's lower it down. And we can actually go down lower. Alright. Well, let's just pick it up from there. And that is good. Now we just need to take a nice calm drive over to the hay loft. I think let's go this way rather. It's going to be a bit better, hopefully. Alright, and that is my cell phone ringing, so that is pretty nice timing while I'm in the middle of operating a forklift attachment. But let's see who this is. Okay guys, so there we are. I just dropped off the 3 hay bales over here at the hayloft, and the phone call that I got was actually from David over at the farmer's market, the guy who stays next to it. So when I went to deliver the tomatoes, I actually bumped into him, and I mentioned to him that I've got my grass field now, and I'm going to start looking around for some grass equipment as well. And he actually came back to me now. He says his neighbor is selling a very small mower, which might actually work quite well on the little Massey Ferguson that he sold to us. And I obviously got to talking about the other tractor that we've got now and everything. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to head over there quickly, just go and have a look at this little mower that his neighbor's got, and maybe make him an offer, because that is going to be at least one less thing that I'm going to have to worry about when I'm starting to look for all the equipment that I need. So obviously I'm going to use the Dude's Far tractor here. I'm going to take the Dude's Far tractor rather than the pickup truck, because that way we can just connect it up straight to the tractor and bring it back to the farm. Alright, I'm just going to nosedive the truck with the trailer into the barn for now. We'll sort this all out once we get back, and then it's obviously going to be very close to the end of the episode, guys, because it's starting to become a long one, and I didn't think there was going to be a whole lot to actually do today, apart from seeding our oats field. But yes, I guess this is just how things go sometimes. You get busy with one thing and then the next thing actually pops up, so it's a good thing we are keeping busy, guys, and getting some more equipment for our farm. Alright, so let's make our way over to David's neighbor and just go and have a look at this little mower that they've got. Alright, guys, so we are here, and yeah, there is the man, David. So we are going to just park up here in front of his neighbor's yard, and we're going to quickly knock on the door and just see if they're going to show us around this mower that they potentially have. Alrighty, guys, so there we go. So this is the little mower that his neighbor has got. He hasn't used it in quite some time, so it's just been sitting here. And obviously, yeah, the price was right, so I handed the guy a bit of cash for this. It was only like, I think, $7,000, which is actually a steal for a mower like that. So we are going to get hooked up to this thing and hopefully take it back to the farm without a problem. It's a little bit of a longer piece of equipment behind us. It's almost like a trailer length, but obviously it doesn't turn on wheels like a trailer does, so we're just gonna have to take it nice and easy with this thing. And then, yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll catch up to you guys once we get back to the farm with this. Alrighty, and here we are back at the farm once again with our newly purchased little mower that is hopefully going to do quite well for us on the grass field over there. It looks like it's a little bit too small for the job, but I guess we will figure that part out once we get to it. But guys, I think that is going to be basically everything for this episode, and hopefully these guys are going to finish our garage very soon, because clearly we've got a bit of a space issue, and you can also see we are kind of just getting more and more equipment on the farm. So I think it'll be best if we can get that garage finished up and ready to start using it. But yes, guys, I thank you so much for tuning in once again, and if you haven't done so already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And also, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit that thumbs up, and then I'll see you all in the next one.